This night changed my life. My name is Liza, I'm 20, and I want to tell you what happened this summer. It all started when my mom announced she was going on a business trip for a week, leaving me home alone with my stepdad, Alex. Normally, our evenings were simple. Cooking dinner together, watching movies, chatting about small things. But that day felt different. I noticed he was looking at me longer than usual, as if trying to understand or say something without words. It was a strange feeling, a mix of warmth and anxiety at the same time. I was sitting on the couch, flipping through a book, and he quietly sat next to me. His presence felt familiar, but this time it made my heart beat faster. "Liza, are you okay?" he asked softly. I nodded, though something new and confusing was stirring inside me. We stayed silent, yet the silence spoke louder than words. Then he suggested we take a walk. I agreed, not realizing this evening would become a turning point. We walked along the empty street, the evening wind teasing my hair, and I found myself wishing this moment would last forever. His hand accidentally brushed mine, and I felt a shiver inside me. I looked at him, and he smiled gently, as if reading my thoughts. I knew I couldn't tell anyone about this, but at that moment I didn't care. For the first time, I felt a special bond between us. Deep, real, and unspoken. I was scared and thrilled at the same time, my heart racing, my mind trying to hold the boundaries I knew I shouldn't cross. We returned home, and the evening went on with quiet conversations, laughter, and ordinary little things. But I already knew this summer would change everything. The next few days passed as if time had slowed down. Mom was away, and it was just the two of us. Mornings began with light conversation over coffee, followed by someone preparing breakfast, and sometimes we sat in silence, simply enjoying each other's company. I noticed how Alex watched me when I laughed, how he reacted to every little joke, how quietly he cared for me. It all felt familiar. Yet this time, the warmth mixed with something new and unusual. I caught myself wanting to be near him more often, just to hear his voice, to feel his presence. Sometimes we cooked dinner together, and I noticed how his fingers brushed mine as he handed me a spoon or helped me chop vegetables. It was so natural, so ordinary that at first I barely noticed it, but each time my heart started racing faster. One evening we sat on the couch to watch an old movie. Alex leaned closer, and I felt the warmth of his shoulder next to mine. I wanted to turn and look at him, but I hesitated, unsure if I should. He noticed my unease and softly said, "It's okay, Liza. You can just be yourself." I believed him more than ever in that moment. I felt calm yet anxious, as if the boundary between normal family warmth and something new was quietly dissolving right in front of me. We often talked about life, future plans, my dreams and fears. He listened to me with a focus no one else ever had. Sometimes I caught myself wanting to tell him more than anyone else, to share thoughts I usually kept silent. We laughed, debated movies, discussed books, and in every conversation, there was an intimacy that words could barely describe. One evening, as we sat on the balcony, I noticed the sun setting on the horizon, and Alex quietly said, "You know, Liza, I'm proud of you. You're grown, smart, beautiful, and I'm glad to be here with you." His words touched me, and I felt warmth spreading in my chest. My heart raced, and I realized my feelings for him were becoming more complex and deeper than mere stepdaughter love. Yet, I knew the boundaries couldn't be crossed. It had to remain a secret. Still, every touch, every glance felt important, as if the world had shrunk to just the two of us. Evenings became little rituals, cooking together, walking, watching movies, and every time he was near, it felt like nothing else existed. I felt tension mingled with warmth and understood that this summer would change me forever. One evening, as the sun had already disappeared behind the horizon, we sat in the kitchen after dinner. Alex quietly turned on some music, and a gentle melody filled the room. I noticed him looking at me differently than before. Attentively, almost thoughtfully, as if trying to read my thoughts. My heart raced again, but this time with a new feeling. A sense of anticipation. We talked about trivial things, how our days had gone, random encounters, yet an invisible thread seemed to hang between us, connecting us. His hand brushed mine as he handed me a napkin, and I felt warmth spread through my entire body. I looked away, but something inside stirred. A mix of excitement, trust, and an inexplicable attachment. Later, we stepped out onto the balcony, breathing in the evening air, gazing at the stars. Alex quietly said, "Liza, I'm glad we can spend time together. You're special to me." His words made me freeze. I knew it was true that a unique bond had formed between us, but I wanted to believe it could remain our little secret, shared with no one. We stayed silent for a while, simply enjoying the moment, but I felt something shifting inside me. I became more attentive to his every word, every gesture, and this warmth mixed with anxiety and excitement. Inside, a storm of feelings raged, feelings I couldn't put into words. Sometimes I caught myself wanting to tell him something important, to share what I felt, but the words got stuck in my throat. Alex seemed to sense it and simply held my hand in his, gently squeezing it, as if silently saying, "I'm here." That gesture felt both simple and infinitely significant. I understood that boundaries couldn't be crossed, that everything had to remain within the family frame. Yet the tension grew each day, and my feelings deepened. And it was strangely beautiful, anxious, yet warm and cozy at the same time. We often sat together in the evenings, watching movies, drinking tea, discussing books, or simply sitting in silence, enjoying the moment. And I realized that each of these moments left an imprint on my heart that could never be erased. I knew this summer would be unforgettable, that it would mark a turning point, something that would change the way I saw the world and our relationship. One evening, when the house had settled into a quiet atmosphere after a long day, I found myself alone in the kitchen with Alex. Mom had gone away for a few days, and we were completely alone. He was making tea while I sat at the table, watching as familiar movements became almost mesmerizing. His hand accidentally brushed mine as he placed a cup on the table, and I felt a light but intense warmth. I looked away, but my heart could not calm down. We talked about the future, about my plans, university, fears, dreams, and hopes. Alex listened with an attentiveness that few people ever show, and at that moment I felt a special closeness. He said, "Liza, you're grown, smart, and you know what you want, and it's nice to be here with you." His words were simple, yet something inside me stirred. I understood that I couldn't share these thoughts with anyone else, that this was our little secret. Then he suggested we take a walk in the yard. The warm evening air, a gentle breeze, and the flickering lights of the street lamps created the feeling that time had stopped, and there was only the two of us. We walked in silence, yet the silence was filled with a special meaning. His hand brushed mine accidentally, and I felt a strange tension and at the same time comfort, safety. I wanted to turn to him, but I restrained myself, afraid to cross boundaries. He noticed my unease and whispered, "Don't worry, it's okay." His words brought calm, but my heart still raced faster than usual. I realized that our relationship had become more complex. Something more than just an ordinary family connection had emerged, yet we both remained careful, respecting boundaries. Each evening we repeated little rituals: tea conversations, quiet walks, laughter over small things. And with each passing day, I felt the inner tension grow, my feelings deepen, and my desire to be near him become stronger. I found myself sometimes watching him longer than necessary, listening carefully to every word, every gesture, trying to understand what he was thinking. Yet it was both anxious and beautiful, as if each moment were filled with a kind of magic. I knew that this summer would be special, that it would remain in my memory forever as the time when my feelings for him became deeper than mere habitual affection. In the final days of summer, everything around seemed especially quiet and magical. Mom was about to return, and I realized that my time with Alex was coming to an end. It was just the two of us at home again, and I felt a mix of joy and gentle sadness growing inside me. I cherished every moment with him, every glance, every word. One evening, we stepped onto the balcony once more. The sky was painted in soft shades of pink and lavender. A gentle breeze brushed my hair, and the air was filled with the warmth of the fading day. Alex sat beside me, and we stayed silent for several minutes, savoring the moment. Then he quietly said, "Liza, this summer was special. I'm glad we could spend so much time together." His voice was soft and sincere, and I felt warmth spreading inside me. I looked at him and smiled. "Me too, Alex." It was unusual but beautiful. He gently squeezed my hand and I felt confidence, calm, and trust all at once. We talked about the future, about what would happen when Mom returned, and I realized that our relationship had grown stronger. Not romantic but real deep, built on understanding and trust. That evening we stayed together for a long time, just being near each other, enjoying simple things. The warm light, the soft breeze, the quiet music from the kitchen. I understood that true closeness isn't about passion or feelings that must be hidden, but about being there, listening, supporting, and valuing the moments life gives. When Mom returned, everything went back to normal. Yet I knew that this summer had left an indelible mark on my heart. Alex and I continued to communicate, laugh, share our thoughts, and I felt that between us, a genuine trust had developed. A strong bond that needed no explanations. I realized that love can take many forms, not always passionate, sometimes quiet, deep, and calm, yet incredibly strong. And this feeling stayed with me, warming my heart, reminding me that special people appear in life for a reason, and that the value of closeness is measured not in words, but in the time spent together. And when I looked at Alex, at how he cared, listened, simply being there, I understood. This is true love, not bound by usual definitions, but something you can feel and carry in your heart forever.